Okay, Professor, welcome to our show once again.
Thank you, sir.
We are always pleased to have you on our show. So today we want to talk about agriculture in terms of the problems that seem to be plaguing it. In the last quarter, second quarter of 2020, we saw in the recent GDP report, that is the report of 2020, second quarter of 2020, that agriculture grew by just a mere 1.58%. Now, this is, as far as I can remember, in fact, I cannot remember a time in recent memory when agriculture grew over 5%. Now, our population growth rate is about 2.7%, near 3%. Can we be growing at 1.5%, 2%, under 3%, and have food security and create jobs the way we want? The question is, the things that I want us to address is, what is the cause of this? Is it from security issues plaguing our farmers? Is it from lack of factors of production like machinery or whatever? Or is it from human capital deficiency? What this is your forte. This is what you do in your life. You are a professor of agriculture. So what is the problem here? What are we looking at here, Professor?
The major issue has been negligence on the part of those that manage the farmer. Our Greek we've not changed the practice of agriculture in the country, but we still rely so much on subsistence agriculture. By definition, subsistence agriculture is where you just produce a little for your family and sell the small quantum that is remaining. We can't call that one agriculture because there are so many factors that limit that. As of 1978, when the Land Decree Act was done during the first time of Obasanjo, where land ownership becomes problem. Because why we are where we are in Nigeria today is because our agri is not mechanized. The level of mechanization of agriculture in the country is about just 1 to 2%. And you cannot have food security and you cannot produce enough when you are still relying on cutlass and hoe. So the factor remains that our ministry, our MDAs that are handling agriculture, what contribution are they making to develop the human capital of the actors within the agricultural value chain? You know, the agricultural value chain starts from inputs up to when you get to market. And you will now find out that the actors within those value chain, the first thing is that we don't even have a data that capture who are the real actors within the agricultural value chain. And when you don't know a problem, you cannot solve the problem. So the growth at 1.8% is not enough, it's not adequate for a country that has close to 80% of its arable land being lying fallow. And the factor remains that communal ownership of land, there's no access where you can have a combined harvester, where you can have factorization of events, because you cannot produce maximally with small plots.
If we have these tractors, if everything is mechanized, would that not create unemployment in our rural communities? Are our farmers able to handle these kinds of things?
No, if we have a truly, because there's difference between having a mechanized agriculture on newspaper and having a true mechanized agriculture. It will expand the horizon. Because in integrated farming, the products of an actor on the value chain is raw material for the next person. Let me give an example. For example, if you are into planting maize, when you have your maize, you have the stalk, you have the cob, you have the grain, you have so many things that you can harvest within your maize. So after harvesting, that product becomes a raw material for somebody that wants to produce ethanol, for somebody that wants to produce animal feed. So it means when you have a complete value chain, it expands the job opportunity along the value chain. And with that, you can have people that will pick and used for like food security. Some people can use it for domestic food production. Some can use it for industrial use. So with that, it means you now have expansion in the number of actors within the value chain that use the same commodity.
So this value chain that you're talking about is the sort of what I guess I would call agro-industrial value chain, not just agriculture, because the way the NBS, the National Bureau of Statistics, looks at agriculture is just crop, fisheries, forestry, and what else? There is something else in there. So, and that's basically it. Something like that. So fisheries, crop, and
they have forest products, forest products.
Yeah. So they don't go outside of that. They don't even go into processing in terms of looking at agriculture. And from what I also noticed in that, crop production accounts for about 90%, like 88% of what they call agriculture. So what is agriculture in your view?
You know why we were discussing before we came on set?
Yes.
I said there's a difference between farming and agriculture.
Okay.
When you talk about agriculture, that's why when you see a student that want to study agriculture, people will say, you just want to go and become a farmer, because they don't know what it entails. What do we have in the value chain? When we talk about, it's not industrial value chain. It's agricultural value chain.
Okay.
It starts from input provider.
Okay.
Who are the input provider? People that sell the fertilizer, the seeds, and a host of other. We have some people that is their main. All of us should not engage in jack of all trade, master of none. We should not engage in doing all. If you just want to face fertilizer production or sales of fertilizer, that you are a part of the input provider. Some people are into production of just manure. For example, if you have a poultry, you can be selling the poultry litters. If you say you have cattle, you can be selling the cow dung. These are within this value chain. After input, you have the actual production.
Okay.
Some people can engage in production. Absolutely. Some can engage in processing. You can believe that I don't even need to produce anything. When it comes up, I will be an off-taker. Pick the item. After picking the item, add the value to it. Process it. The processing can be, you can process it into finished product. You can process it into a raw material.
Yeah.
For example, in cassava, when you produce cassava pellets now, the chips, when you produce cassava chips, that is is now a raw material for somebody that wants to go into animal production. Maybe you want to use it to feed your cattle, or you want to use it to produce ethanol. Okay. Within that, when you leave that processing, some people can decide that I just want to have storage. Okay. That I can have silo, you bring your commodity, I store for you for a while.
Professor, financially, are our farmers doing well in Nigeria? Are farmers living well? Are their incomes okay for their households?
No, they are not.
Why is that? Because we see all this food inflation. When we look at the NBS inflation numbers, food inflation leads the rate of increase in prices. So food inflation is what people are complaining about, which to me would then mean that the farmers are getting a lot of money. But you're saying that they are not.
No, they are. When I'm discussing that value chain, I talk about the storage.
Yes.
After storage, you can now get into the marketers.
Yeah.
So within the storage, if you just decide you want to handle storage, most of the people that are gaining, especially from the COVID situation, they are the people that have mop up, that have bought the agricultural produce for a while.
Middlemen. Okay.
Middlemen. So now that there is opportunity, they are now throwing those items to market at exorbitant prices. So those monies are not going back to the farmer.
Yeah.
The actual farmer sold off at farm gate during production, because the actual farmer doesn't have hope of post-harvest handling of the crop.
Yeah.
Could not store.
Yeah.
So when you cannot store, you sell at ridiculous prices to the wholesalers of the off-takers or whatsoever they call their name, or the middlemen.
If there was good human capital development for our farmers, what I often call tax-specific human capital development, could that help the farmers to understand their business a lot better and perhaps be able to get more money? So what do you think can be done to handle that situation?
The first thing is that we have to be sincere with our farmers.
Okay.
Because nearly every time we speak about the collapse of extension services.
Okay.
But if we can rejuvenate that, it's
and
not
extension services to the ordinary person is what?
Extension services mean people that goes to the farmer to advise them on good agricultural practices. Good. Because the farmer doesn't know, he did not go to school. Yeah. But you that you are a little bit educated, farmer even find it difficult to adopt hybrid crops or new breeds of animal because they still believe in practicing the conceptual traditional way that their parents have been doing. Yeah. But if there are information, because you can do extension on your phone, it's not compulsory. Most farmers use phone now. You can do extension on your phone, you can do radio jingle, you can do physical one. By the time you introduce that to the farmer, the production of the farmer...
Did you just say radio jingle? Well, how does that got to do with the farmer?
Like, there are some radio programs that tell the farmer how do you cultivate your crop, how do you manage your crop, how do you assess market. At times, I know there is always some jingle that talk about the prices of the commodity, so that will guide the farmer, so that the farmer will not sell at a ridiculous price. So within that concept, you will find out the farmer will be informed. Being informed does not, you don't need to go to school to be informed. Because even some of our engagement to assist the farmer, we need to translate them into local languages so that the farmer, the communication will sink down.